so let's go back to the outline and let's finish the chapter. In the outline, you'll see that we've gone through the methods now. We've already talked about a partial year depreciation. That was short exercise 1. Now we're into, they do ask you to do short problem 6, changing the estimated life of an asset. I don't think you have one on your quiz. You shouldn't. If we do, let me know, because I really don't feel like you should have to be responsible for that in this class. So I may have screwed up and put it in there, and if I did, let me know, and I'll regrade that one, okay? Okay. Assume that alpha, I'm just going to go through it to teach it to you, but you're not going to have to be tested on it. So assume that alpha paid $75,000 for equipment with a 15-year life, 0 residual. And they use it for 6 years, and they think they're only going to use it for another 5. So instead of 15 years, how many total years are they going to use it? Total years. 11, which is, so sometimes they tell you 11 total years, and sometimes they tell you 5 more years. Either way, it's the same computation. Just be careful, not to be caught that way. So, what we would do in this case, well, I'll just show it to you. You would do the remaining depreciable base. So we would, well, they didn't really do that very well. Okay, so it would be the 75,000 minus 0 divided by 15 would be 5,000 a year. With me? All right. Okay, and you would do that for 6 years. So accumulated would be 30. 75 minus 30 is our remaining depreciable base for 5 more years. Gives us 9,009. Has there only been 5 years? Wait on that. Partial year. No. Maybe I'm not. Okay, let me read it. Oh, that's 7. Del in. Okay. So 9-6. So it would be 9,000. So years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it was 5,000. And then you decided, we're not going to keep it 15 years. We're just going to keep it 11. There's only 5 more years. So we take the original cost and how much we've already depreciated, 30, and divide it by the 5 remaining years. And that gives us 9 for years 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So it goes up from 5 to 9. But as long as we made that 15 with our best guess, it's not a problem. We don't have to go back and call it an error. We didn't make a boo-boo. We don't have to restate retained earnings. Okay? There's no error here. It's just a change in estimate. Okay. So the next thing on your outline is disposing of a plant asset. So there are different ways you can dispose of an asset. You can sell it. You can put it out by the dumpster. Okay. What is the best way to what do you do with the computer at the end? What's the best tool used to make sure that nobody steals your proprietary information? A hammer, right, with a computer. Kill it, right? Okay, and then put it on the junk heap, because smart people can peel back the onion and get stuff. So, you're with me? That's the best way to get rid of a computer. But you could have a machine, like an old calculator or something, big hunkin' dog, or telephone system that has no value to anybody. You could just take it out and put it in the dumpster. So you could.
With the computers, if you take the plates out of the hard drive and then just keep those and get everything done, then you're good.
You don't have to use a hammer. Just use the hammer on the.
Even if you smash up the plates, if there's just a piece of the plate left, you could still pull data from it. You have to do it manually, but you could still pull it. It takes forever because I've done it.
You smash it and then you throw it.
And then you smash the plate.
Then you
or
smash
put them in a different dumpster.
You boil them,
Boil
then
them.
put
say?
Just smash it.
Just smash it.
Now we know. Me neither, but be careful. Well, you know, most of you don't have your tax return on there, you don't have your, you do,
Time machine.
you don't have your, social security number, your, you know, proprietary information, passport number, that kind of stuff, so. But, what?
That's like all on.
I know, mine too. And so that's why I smashed them. Okay. Anyway, so you could actually just get rid of it, you could sell it, or you could trade it in. We're so far so good. So you would sell it if there's any value, Craigslist it, you know, whatever, eBay, whatever you do. Or maybe you have an employee. Sometimes my husband will have a really old truck and it's just costing him too much for repair, but he's got a couple of men that are really good repairmen, and they'll buy it, you know, and they can keep it in working order. So you could sell it to somebody, or you could trade it in. You have a truck and you trade it in on a new truck. So far, so good. What I'd like to give you is the rules, no matter what you're doing. It's just some of the steps are not applicable to all three. But if you memorize these rules, you'll be fine. Number one, depreciate the asset to the date of sale. And what does that mean? Most of the time, most companies only do adjusting entries annually. So the only time they record their depreciation is on December 31st. And guess what? We don't dispose of them all on December 31st. Because we're all getting ready for parties. Okay? You know, what if you dispose of it on April 1st? Well, you haven't depreciated it since last December 31st. So we would have a partial year here. From January 1st of the year you dispose of it until the date of disposal. January, February, March, 3/12 of a year. So the first thing you're going to do is update your depreciation. Just for that asset. You don't have to do it for everything, just for that one asset that you're disposing. Debit depreciation, spent, credit, accumulated depreciation. So far, so good. And get your accumulated depreciation where it should be. The second thing is we want to remove the asset. That's going to be a credit. Assets have a debit balance. To remove it, so it's original cost, truck, that one that we had, $41,000. Okay? Credit, truck, $41,000. Okay? We also want to remove accumulated depreciation. Okay? Since it's got a credit balance, we remove it with a debit. This is kind of like doing our closing entries, right? We're removing it. We're making it go to zero. I mean, this is not an asset that we're going to have anymore. It doesn't need to be on the books anymore. So everything that's on the books with that thing has to come off. Okay? Number 4, record cash. Now, this is the one that's kind of different for each of the three. If you sell it, you're going to debit cash for what you sold for. If you trade it in, you're probably going to put cash with it, so you're crediting cash. And if you're putting it in the dumpster, there is no cash. Okay? So just, if there's cash, are you getting it or are you giving it? That determines whether it's a debit or credit. So far, so good. And then plug, your debits won't equal your credits. So you got to make your debits equal your credits. So we plug that journal entry up with a gain or a loss. Loss is like expense, so if you need a debit to plug it up, it's a loss. If you need a credit, it's like a revenue, it's a gain. Easy. Okay? Any questions so far? Just memorize these 5 steps, please. Okay? So page 565 does, what if we dispose of it? Well, first of all, on 565, they dispose of something that is fully depreciated. Fully depreciated means that we had no salvage. Our accumulated depreciation is equal to the cost. And so in this first one on page 566 at the top, we had bought it some years ago, and right now it's got an original cost in equipment of $10,000, and we fully depreciated it. $10,000. Book value, zero. 10,000 minus 10,000, zero. Okay? So we're gonna depreciate to date. Well, you don't have any more. It's already fully depreciated. Yes? Remove the asset. We credited equipment 10,000. Remove the accumulated depreciation. Debit at 10,000. There is no cash. There is no gain or loss. We threw it away. Okay? Easy. The second one, though, what if we suppose instead that the accumulated depreciation on the day we threw it away was only $8,000? Okay? Same 5 steps. Depreciate it to the date of sale. We're assuming that they already did. Okay? No, we're not. It says they sold it on July 1st. So half a year's depreciation, it's $1,000 a year, 500. So there's your first journal entry. Depreciate it to the date of sale. Bottom of page 566. Debit depreciation expense, credit accumulated depreciation for this year of disposal from January 1st to July 1st. And then we want to, now accumulated depreciation is no longer 8,000, it's now 8,500. We remove the asset, credit equipment 10,000. Remove the accumulated, which is no longer 8,000, it's 8,500. There is no cash, but we do have a loss. When you throw something away, you'll never have a gain. Think about it. Okay? If you're not getting money and you got it, okay, it'll either be zero, no loss, or a loss, but you won't have a gain. Okay? For throwing it away. All right. If you do, you're selling it. All right, so what if we do sell it? Bottom of page 567. Companies often sell a plant asset for cash. So on July, so these are the same piece of equipment. These are mutually exclusive. All right, we either had it fully depreciated and we threw it away. That's example 1. It wasn't fully depreciated and we threw it away. That was example 2. Now, it's not fully depreciated, but we're selling it. Bottom of the year. And it says, what if we sell it for $1,500? Okay, depreciate it to date, debit depreciation expense, credit accumulated, same as we did in the second example. Remove the asset, credit equipment 10,000. Remove the accumulated, 8,500. Record the cash, debit cash 1,500. There is no gain or loss. It balances. But wait, there's more. Okay, number 4, what if we sold it instead for $4,000? You see that? So again, remove the equipment, depreciate to date, remove the equipment, remove accumulated, record the cash of $4,000, and it doesn't balance. We need a credit of $2,500. That is the gain. How did they get that $2,500? Our book value is $1,500. How did I get that? How did I get $1,500 book value?
What's left?
What's left, the $10,000 minus the $8,500, is a $1,500. So our books are saying the asset's value is $1,500, but we sold it for $4,000, so we had a gain of $2,500. Okay, but you don't really have to compute the gain. You just plug it up. Okay. Let's do short exercises. 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm on page 589. Discarding a fully depreciated asset on June 15th. We discarded, we threw it away, put it in the dumpster. Cost of $10,000, it was fully depreciated, which means its accumulated depreciation equals its cost. So what's the journal entry? Same as it was in the book. Debit to accumulated depreciation and a credit to equipment, $10,000. Right? Easy peasy. Number 8, we threw it away, but it did have a book value. On March 31st, 2013, short exercise 8, alternative landscapes discarded equipment, threw it away, put it in the dumpster. That had a cost of $20,000 accumulated at the beginning of, or at the end of last year was $18,000, and our annual depreciation is $2,000. okay? How much of a year until we dispose of it? What fraction? We get rid of it on March 31st, so 3/12. Okay, so 3/12 of 2,000, or a fourth of 2,500 bucks. All right. So let's do our rules. Number one, depreciate to the date of sale. There's our $500. Number two, remove the asset, 20,000 credit. Remove the accumulated depreciation, 18,000 plus the 500 we just added, 18,500. So we have a loss. We had no cash. We threw it away. And so we have a loss of the difference, 1,500. Is that good? Everybody okay with that? Who needs a minute? Go. So just apply your rules, right? Just memorize your rules and apply. This is not hard, just a little bit of memorization. The next one we're going to do is number 9. Who still needs a minute? Okay, so Global Positioning Net purchased equipment on January 1st, 2013 for $36,000, and they sold it for $26,000 on December 31st, 2014. On that same day, the accumulated depreciation was $16,000. What was its book value on that day? 36.
20.
It was 20. 36 minus 16 is 20, and we sold it for 26. So you know that we've got a gain of 6,000 in your mind. You can, okay. So let's make it happen. And so we remove the equipment. It was depreciated to date because we sold it when we should be getting ready for a party, okay? So we remove the equipment, credit 36,000. We remove the accumulated depreciation, 16,000. We record our cash as 26, and we still need a credit of 6,000, which is our gain. Easy? And then finally, and I'll show you the answer to that one as well, short exercise 10, Prime bought equipment for 20, sold it for 7 on December 31st, 2014. Accumulated depreciation on that date was 10, so it had a book value of 10. 20 minus 10 is the other 10. We sold it for 7, so we have a loss of 3. All right, so I'm going to also put that journal entry up. See the difference? Take off the equipment, take off the accumulated, record the cash, and you need a debit to make a balance. Now our debits equal our credits with a loss of 3. Is that pretty easy? Okay, I think we can stop it there. Thank you, Corey.